So this is like really, 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 really bad. This is the latest from Rogan. This was during an interview with Jocko Willink. And here's Rogan's new theory about monoclonal antibodies and the vaccine, okay?
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this because it's fucking true. Because I've experienced it many
And I'm
times.
going to keep track of each claim, and then we'll go through each claim one by one.
People that I'm friends with, they're withholding monoclonal antibodies. They're trying to stop people from getting them. There's not a fucking shortage of monoclonal antibodies.
And so what does that do?
Monoclonal antibodies kills COVID like Raid kills roaches. When you get shot up
you
with
get it after you get you get COVID, then you get this.
That's what
treatment.
they gave Trump, and that's what they gave me.
Mm-hmm.
I got better quick. I got better fucking quick.
And Trump got better pretty quick.
And he's old and fat. He's old and fat. And he got better in 4 days.
So why are they withholding it?
Because they want you to get vaccinated. That's what I think. I think they don't want there to be a very clear path where you don't have to be vaccinated, but if you get sick, you're going to be fine.
So is it just the money going into the pharmaceutical companies that's driving people to want everyone to get vaxxed?
It must have an influence. It's also the narrative. Right. There's also people that have been vaccinated that don't want people to get away without being vaccinated.
What?
Because I think they know they took a chance. I think secretly they know. Like if anybody pays any attention, they know someone who's had a bad reaction to the vaccine.
All right, so let's go through each of these claims because this is really a Gish Gallop. This is very, very dangerous because this guy has such a big audience. And again, I have no idea if Joe Rogan. People ask me, "Am I beefing with him now? Or are we on bad terms?" I've been on Rogan's show twice. I have no idea if he's aware of my coverage of his vaccine stuff. I wouldn't hide any of it. I would gladly talk about any of it with him on his show. Every time I mention it, people are like, "David, he'll never have you back on, you loser." It's like, I understand that he may not because he might not like the things I've said. He also might have no idea about the things I've said. So go through the claims one by one. The first claim is that there's no shortage of monoclonal antibodies. And so we have to really kind of get to what it is that he means by that. And what I think he means is that the monoclonal antibodies are just as available as the vaccines. Now, that's not true. It's just not true. The monoclonal antibody, you can read about the production process. It is much more difficult to make doses of monoclonal antibodies as nearly as quickly as it is to make vaccine doses. So it's not true. The first question about there's a fake shortage of monoclonal antibodies. You don't have to call it a shortage, but there's not widespread availability in the way that there is for vaccines. Read about how they're manufactured. Okay. I don't have a firm grasp of every step in the process, but you can read about that. That's number one. Number two, he says it knocks it out. It kills COVID like Raid kills roaches, and they gave it to Trump and Trump got better like that. Neither of those things is true. It is true that in double-blind randomized controlled trials, the antibodies are efficacious relative to a placebo, which is why they received emergency use authorization, just like the vaccines did, right? If you trust the monoclonals, but not the vaccine, they both initially were approved on the same emergency basis, on the basis of the same types of trials. That's number one. Number two, Trump was very, very sick. Remember, they lied about how sick Trump was. And Trump immediately got the monoclonal antibodies, and he still got worse. And we subsequently learned, even though Dr. Sean Conley was very, very kind of skeevy about it, that Trump was on oxygen. They were part of the rush to get Trump to the hospital was, we want to do it while you can walk, because if you get more sick, which we're worried you will, we're going to have to bring you out on a stretcher. So it's also not true that with Trump, it cured it like that. Okay. Third claim, kind of the fourth, where Jocko says, why would they rather? Is it because of money for big pharma? And Rogan says it must be. Think about that. The vaccines are made by big pharma for profit, and the monoclonal antibodies are made by big pharma for profit. So even if you say, when there's a plausible thing, I will buy into it, this isn't even plausible because both are very profitable. And by the way, one treatment of monoclonal antibodies is far more profitable than one vaccine dose or even a full course of vaccines, which is now, 2 to 3 doses. So it doesn't even pass the sniff test. The vaccines also are much cheaper. at the societal level, even though you give it to everybody rather than only people who get sick. That's how much cheaper the vaccines are relative to the monoclonal antibodies. So the profit motive is trash. And then what was the other one? Oh, everyone. Oh, that was so crazy. People who got vaccinated want others to also get vaccinated so that they also expose themselves to the risks, the gamble of getting vaccinated. What are you talking about? And then he also says, everybody knows someone who's had a really bad reaction from the vaccine. I have personally spoken in my life to, if you include people who call in, 1,000 people who have been vaccinated, right? I mean, people I know and people who've called. Nobody mentioned anything more than just flu-like symptoms. So 5 different false points. This is very, very dangerous stuff. It's very, very dangerous stuff at this point in time. And I think people seem to agree with me mostly in the chat.